Welcome back to Sports Talk with Jordan. I'm here with Jacob, and we're going to be talking about the NBA playoffs so far. It's been an interesting season for playoffs, as there have been many wild things and some upsets, including the Knicks, the 4 seed, losing to the Atlanta Hawks, the 5 seed. So we're now going to be talking about the predictions so far, the conference semis, then the conference finals, and then the playoffs. So we're going to start in the Western Conference with the Utah Jazz trying to defeat the LA Clippers. What do you think is going to happen here?
So I'm definitely going on the outside of things. I think LAC really got pushed to their limit in a 7-game series in which they beat Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have Utah winning. Not at all a bad series for LA, a very close series. I have Utah pushing them to 7 games as well, and I simply see Utah being the more developed team. And so what are your thoughts?
So I'm gonna go with an upset here, just to make it more interesting. So I'm gonna go with the LA Clippers beating the Utah Jazz in 7. I think Paul George is going to have the best series all year, dropping out at least 40 points in one of the games. So I have the LA Clippers winning the series 4-3, moving on to the finals. All right.
Let me just stay on this series. I see Donovan Mitchell having a huge series, dropping 30 points in all the games, and Rudy Gobert having a huge defensive series, holding Kawhi when he's guarding Kawhi to under 30% from the field, and I think that's going to be the key to Utah winning.
And now for the second matchup of the conference semifinals, we have the 3-seeded Denver Nuggets taking on the Phoenix Suns. And I have the Phoenix Suns winning in 6. What about you?
I don't know. I mean, this is tough. But again, I think it was kind of luck that Denver got past Portland, a healthy Portland team in the first round. And I think a lack of Jamal Murray is going to kill Denver here. I actually have Phoenix winning in 6 games, and the Chris Paul effect with his playoff experience, it's really going to start to show as he's going to have 20 points in all of the games and 10 assists in at least 10 of them. So I see Phoenix beating Denver in 6 games.
Yeah, Chris Paul was not at his best and healthiest in the series between the LA Lakers and the Suns. And although MPJ and Jokic can put up a fight, the Suns have Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and so many other weapons, so that's why I have them in 6.
Absolutely.
So now for the Eastern Conference, we have the 1-seeded Philadelphia 76ers taking on the 5-seeded Atlanta Hawks, and Atlanta already leads the series 1-0. So what do you think is going to happen?
I thought it was a huge upset for Atlanta, a young, inexperienced Atlanta team. To first beat New York in 5 games was a total upset, and Trae Young totally undermining the Madison Square Garden effect. And I'm shocked that they were able to go into Philly, who is the best team in the Eastern Conference, and the best or second best team in the Eastern Conference, and take the first game there.
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen a lot from this Atlanta team, and I gotta be honest, I see them taking this to 7 games, but I think Philly's too powerful. Besides a huge series, offensive and defensive performance behind Ben Simmons, I see Philly winning the series here in 7.
Completely agree. The last game was a great game. Philly was down by at most, I think, 25 or 26, coming back to like a 2 or 3 point game. But at the end, Atlanta went on a little bit of a push, but I have Philly doing a lot better defensively and offensively, which is why I have Philly in 7 like you do. So now on to the final semi-conference game. We have the Brooklyn Nets facing the Milwaukee Bucks. What do you think about it?
I may sound a little bit biased here because I am a Nets fan, but again, no surprise there here that Brooklyn took the rubber series, and I definitely see Brooklyn winning the series. I do see it in 7 games behind a couple powerful performances from Giannis Antetokounmpo, but I see Kyrie Irving really stepping it up here and showing that he can be the best player on this Nets squad.
Yeah, so with the first game, Harden getting injured within the first minute of the first quarter, I do see Brooklyn still winning, as I can see Harden coming back within the next few games, because they're not calling it a sprain or anything, as a lot of the news and media has said. But I have Brooklyn in 6. I have Milwaukee winning the game tonight or on June 7th, so I'm going to go with Brooklyn in 6. So now we're going to move on to the conference finals, and what we're going to do, so you had Utah, correct?
Yep.
And I had the Clippers and we both went with the Suns. So I have the Suns beating the Clippers in 7 games. I think Chris Paul is really going to show his dominance, but even above Paul, I have Devin Booker stepping it up to win against this tough Clippers team with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. What about you?
So I have Utah against Phoenix. So of course the two underdogs, the two best teams in the Western Conference. But I do have the number 1 seeded Utah Jazz winning the series. I see it in 6 games, and I simply see Utah being the finer team over Phoenix. I see Devin Booker struggling with a sub 30% from the field, and I see Chris Paul having a good series, which would just not be enough. And I don't see anyone in the Utah team being great, but I see them being very solid. And this would send Utah to their first NBA Finals since the Karl Malone, John Stockton days.
Yeah, and now on to the Eastern Conference Finals, where we both agreed that it would be Philadelphia playing the 2-seeded Brooklyn Nets. What do you think's going to happen here?
I think both teams have a pretty impressive big three, but I don't think Philly is going to have it this series. I see Philly struggling defensively. I see Philly struggling offensively, and I'm going to go Nets in 6 here behind a huge series from Kevin Durant, showing that he is the best player and most important player on this Nets squad.
Yeah, I too have the Brooklyn Nets. I am a Nets fan, so it's a little bit biased, I'd say. But the Nets are showing dominance, especially against the 3-seeded team, the Bucks, who have Giannis, Middleton, and Jrue Holiday, and those are pretty good players, which is why I can see Brooklyn showing dominance in that series and in this following series, which we predict. So I'm going to go with Nets in 7. It's going to be a great series for the Nets, boosting them to the finals.
Yeah.
So now to the finals between the Nets and the Eastern Conference, and either the Suns or the Utah Jazz. Because I have the Suns beating the Clippers, and you had the Jazz beating the Suns. So what do you think's going to happen between the Nets and your Utah Jazz pick?
I don't know. I see Utah. Utah is the finer squad. They have the better defense, and they do have some firepower. But I do have to go with the Nets here. Seven games. I think the big three is just going to be too powerful altogether in a final series. And I see the Nets winning their first franchise championship in franchise history.
Yeah, so for my matchup between the Nets and the Suns, I do have the Nets winning, because earlier in the season, I'm pretty sure that the Nets won against the Suns, if I'm not mistaken, with a score of, The Nets won 128 to 124 in February, and in April the Nets won by 9 points, once again with 128 points to 119 points. So I can see them sweeping completely against the Suns. Well, not in this series, but I can see them winning the series against the Suns. I have them winning in 7.
Yep, absolutely. So we both have the Nets with a championship victory here in 7 games, and I think it's pretty accurate.
And with that being said, that's going to be the end of this playoff series. Well, we'll probably do another video when the conference does happen with our newer predictions, because a lot can change from now to then. And we'll see you next time. Bye.